wrong with these people? What are they afraid of? I know. So do you. It's the same thing we all fear for. The unexpected. Fury and sound. Who is this guy? A hypnotist? A magician? Is he leading an orchestra? What's he doing? Ah, this must be Hollywood. And we are looking at a genius. Hollywood geniuses have cropped up in motion pictures, television, and even radio, where a self-styled wonder boy could terrify a nation with a sound effect.
No. For the last time, Roacher will explain what he wants. He asked the extras for tender ad-libs. Not for Circus Maximus. Roacher would like to explain to the sound effects man, for the 7th time, he might add, that he wishes the rain effect to sneak in over the pulsating music and not crash it. Roacher is a man endowed with extrasensory hearing. Start again from the top of 13. Ad lib.
Dear darling, how can I tell you what my heart cannot say? And he's been gone a day. Oh, how many years are there in a day?
Stop! Roacher has worked with insensitive fools in many places and under many conditions, but he is forced to yield top honors to the radio artists assembled in this studio. How can these fragile dreams achieved after nights of creative sweat compete with this?
I'm sorry. I tried to adjust my music stand and it slipped.
How honorable. The assistant producer, Mr. Fowler, confesses. Roacher has employed him for 3 years. His principal function is to relay Roacher's signals to you. He watches Roacher very carefully. And when I move my arm like this, Mr. Fowler similarly moves his towards you. He is an extension of Roacher's arm. But he has not as yet evolved a method by which to do this without taking down the studio. Free for dinner.
Sure made you look like a stooge.
Why not? I am a stooge.
How did my performance sound, Charlie?
All right, I guess.
You guess.
Well, it sounded a little corny to me.
It didn't sound corny to Roacher, but he only gets $2,000 a week for running the show.
If you want apples polished, don't send them to me. Where do we go for dinner?
I don't know where you're going. I'm having dinner with Roacher to discuss my performance. Just the two of us.
Why do you let him treat you like that, Fowler? Like a half-wit weasel. You know, a guy can only stand just so much for just so long.
What's that?
Hey, what are you doing? Cut that!
Bet you never knew a piece of celery could be so noisy, huh?
What do you call this thing?
That's something I rigged up myself. It's called a contact microphone. It's the most sensitive electric ear that science has ever invented. Sort of a sound microscope, you might say. It'll take a tiny noise like a fly climbing up a house screen. Make it sound like an elephant charging through a lumberyard. Or it'll take a chaw of celery and make it sound like the roof coming down.
What do you do with a thing like this?
Oh, I was going to play a joke on the mad genius.
Roacher doesn't like jokes.
That makes us even. I don't like Roacher. Hey, what about your dinner?
I'm not hungry.
Well, you gotta eat. There.
Oh, thanks. Say, where do you get food like this?
Simple. Find yourself a wife who's a good cook. You married?
Yeah. My wife's playing the lead in tonight's show.
You mean the dame with a phony sob in her voice? Oh, I'm sorry. She left with Roacher, and I thought...
No need to be sorry. It's true. Merle's not a bad actress. It's just that she's mixed up, I guess.
Mixed up? Yeah. And I can just see that dame fixing a ham sandwich for you.
Good night, my love. Good night across the latitudes and the longitudes of space and time. You are here with me because love is.
You have just heard another original by Roacher in the series Roacher Presents. It was produced, written, and directed by Mr. Roacher, who also suggested the musical theme. Next week, Mr. Roacher, acclaimed the most imaginative dramatist in radio, will offer the listening public. But let radio's foremost producer tell you about it, Mr. Kingsley Roacher.
Roacher speaking. Next week, Roacher fans will hear a drama fraught with social significance. Farewell to Apes. It poses a subtle political problem. What would happen if an ape declared himself dictator of a nation? Until next week, then, this is Kingsley Roacher, who humbly hopes that you will think of him as the man who makes you laugh, the man who makes you cry. Bonsoir. And 30.
Thank you very much. You're wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Well, Charlie, one of my best shows, don't you think?
You should know.
Of course, it would have been a smoother show if you hadn't botched up the music cues I've told you to be.
Save it. I'm through being your whipping boy. Get yourself a newer model.
Charlie, you didn't say it. The artist in me is shocked. You and Merle have been brother and sister to me. Labored to groom you to be a great director, too. I brought your wife to the verge of a great acting career.
If it hadn't been for Merle, I'd have walked out on you 2 years ago.
Charlie, I'm bleeding.
Well, what are you two glaring about?
Charlie says he wants to quit the show.
He's just tired. He'll forget about it in the morning. Come on, King. You need to pick me up.
A guy can only stand just so much for so long.
Oh, thanks, King. It was a grand evening. It really was grand.
Tomorrow, baby.
Oh, why not? Night-night. You waited up for me. How sweet.
You keep very fancy hours.
Don't tell me what to do.
Are you married to me or to Roacher?
Oh, now that's a silly question.
Bad enough having to live in the same house with him.
Only while we stay in Hollywood. I thought it was very sweet the King wanted us to stay with him. He gets so lonely and pent up in hotels.
Sweet. I'm sick and tired of the way he's moving in on my wife. We're going to a hotel in the morning. Everything's packed.
Don't try to boss me around in that quiet tone of voice. Now, I'm fed up to the ears with you, Charlie. Why don't we call it quits like adults?
40 months I've been stooging for Roacher. And stooging for you. I've choked every decent feeling. Become a nonentity because I wanted to hold you. Well, I'm getting out of this rut with you and the boy genius. You two can have the rut all to yourselves.
Charlie. Charlie. We've only got 3 more broadcasts here in Hollywood. Now, when we get to New York, we can separate quietly. Until then, we'll just go on as we have. Of course, we'll agree between ourselves that it's all over. A divorce right now would be, well, you know how sensitive Kingsley is about personal things.
But spare Kingsley's feelings by all means.
We could still be friends.
You and Roacher. My blessings on you, children. You deserve each other.
You want to borrow it? Sure.
Will this work on any amplifier?
Just match the impedance. Crank up the gain. That little baby will make a raindrop sound like an atom bomb.
Thanks, man.
What are you going to do with it?
I think I'll play a little joke on Roacher.
Roacher doesn't like jokes. But then, you don't much like Roacher, do you, Charlie boy? Let's get back to fury and sound. What do you think you are? A plumber? That's no way to fix the water faucet, Fowler. Or is that the way you wanted to fix it?
Charlie, you take these strips back to the mimeograph department. You tell them the whole job's got to be done over again. It's lousy with errors.
Roger, Dodger, Your Majesty. I never realized what a great view you have from this window.
No, yes. When I write, I feel that all Hollywood is stretched out at my feet. On a clear day, you can see Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Now, what are you fixing, Fowler? A love potion? A little nightcap for the lady?
Merle? I know that you haven't been sleeping well lately. About some of those sleeping powders you took in New York.
You're getting strangely thoughtful all of a sudden.
Setup you've got there. Amplifier, loudspeaker, volume controls. You can make a big noise with that stuff, Charlie.
What are you doing in the closet?
Just hanging up some clothes. Is King in his room?
No, he went to bed hours ago.
What was that noise?
What noise, King? What are you talking about?
I thought it was water dripping.
Oh, that faucet in the bathroom.
It started out like water, then it got louder, like explosions.
You wake Merle.
Didn't she hear it?
You must have had a nightmare, that's all.
It must have been. That's what it was. A dream. A dream.
Okay, King, I'm coming. I suppose I got another brainstorm about the show. Well, what is it?
You heard that, didn't you?
Are you hearing noises again?
It sounded like a housefly.
Sure. There's a fly around the place somewhere. I heard it.
But it shook the walls of the house.
I wonder what would happen to a man whose hearing became too sensitive. If he heard too much. If the tamping of a cigarette. It's like the throbbing of drums. Or the striking of a match. It was like a forest fire. I suppose a person like that would never find rest or quiet. You better watch yourself. I wonder what would happen if the lads who pay your salary knew the shape you're in.
I'm in perfect shape. There's nothing wrong with me. I've been working too hard, that's all. I just need a little rest. I'll be all right now, Charlie. Going back to bed.
You're the doctor.
I have told you 11 times, Maestro, to mute the brass. Now mute, in case you've forgotten, Maestro, a mechanism to be inserted into the barrels of trumpet to decrease the sound. Roacher will now hold up his rehearsal so that the so-called musician can go about this complicated process.
The Wonder Boy's really roaring, isn't he? At the rate he's going, I figure the boys with the butterfly nets will be after him before you leave Hollywood.
Operating room seat again, please, from the top. Who is the asthmatic individual who insists upon coughing directly into the microphone?
I'm sorry, King.
You'd like to have us stop reading.
The actor who made that statement is dismissed herewith from the cast without pay.
King, you can't replace Lewis.
May I remind you that Roacher is directing? There is no actor that is indispensable.
Call a doctor.
No.
He doesn't want a doctor.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Please don't call a doctor. I don't want a doctor.
It was a wonderful performance, wasn't it? Roacher carried on despite personal injuries. It's in the best tradition of Roacher, of all show business.
Why didn't you want a doctor?
Well, there's nothing wrong with me. Just a case of nerves, that's all.
Well, you must get straight to bed now.
Yes.
That's what you need, King. Rest and quiet.
Lots of quiet.
Sure, that's all I need.
Quiet.
Good night.
Sleep well, King. I suppose the King isn't better. I'll have to direct the show this week.
That'll be a laugh. What's that?
You're sleeping, Father?
Oh, I don't want any tonight. Makes me wake up a little bit fogged.
But you've got to take it. It means a great deal to me.
Why, Charlie!
You've had a pretty strenuous day, Merle. Please, I insist that you take this before you go to bed.
All right, Charlie, I'll take it.
Be sure you do.
Merle, you asleep? What's on the program tonight? A mosquito symphony? A termite tap dance? But put something good on the slide of your sound microscope, Mr. Fowler. Something extra special.
Merle? Can you hear me?
Charlie, come here!
What is it, King?
Heard that, didn't you? Heard what? Heartbeat!
No sound? Your hearing's running away with you, King. You're going insane.
Oh, you heard that? Please tell me you heard that!
I don't hear anything. And neither do you. Except in that crazed, arrogant little brain. Roacher is mad. Raving mad. And you'll never escape. Quiet. Peace.
I've got to get away from that dog! I've got to get away!
Charlie! Charlie, what happened? Who screamed?
Nothing. You just had a dream, that's all. Already cast? Fowler will begin at the top of page 9. Fowler insists on absolute attention to his directions. Maestro, how many times must Fowler demand that your artists do not whisper during the dramatic scenes? Fowler will not tolerate such crass indifference to the creative urge. Break for dinner. Back in an hour. I'm free now. Of course, the so-called forces of justice never overtook me. Paolo was too clever for them. I now enjoy a position in the radio profession very much like that of Mr. Roacher before his death. Would you care to stay and listen to my masterpiece?